Hey guys, welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm so excited. This is a bit impromptu. And we're going to talk about how to truly rebrand yourself heading into 2025. So I'm really, really looking forward to sharing everything with you today. And a lot has transpired since being live with you only less than, I guess, like about 10 days ago. So I want to make sure we've got everything going here. Okay. We're in all the places except okay. All right. There we go. Okay. I'm like, what is happening? I hope that works. All right. So hello. Okay. A few things that we're going to be talking about. So heading into 2025, this is such a beautiful time. And one of the things that I specialize in and really want to bring today is about how to truly redesign yourself, your life by your design, not by default. So one of the things that I do in the realm of reinvention, I'm kind of the queen of reinvention over here. And many of the things that we've done throughout my life, I've reinvented myself from, fashion designer, fitness expert, athlete, nutritionist, entrepreneur, business owner, you name it. And so this is bothering me. I'm going to keep adjusting until I get this up where I wanted it. So today what we're going to talk about is truly how to redesign your life the way that you want it to. And heading into 2025, I find this to be the most powerful time to do this. You can do this at any time, but right now, more than ever, has statistically shown that women are significantly more unhappy than we've ever been. The statistics in previous years and decades have been that men have been more unhappy and women were happier and thriving, and men struggled with depression and feeling overworked and stress and more illness. And now it is in the reverse. And one of the, and where did I actually wanted to attribute this back. Cody Sanchez had mentioned this in an interview that she had done. And I would love to tell you exactly. His name is Arthur Brooks, and he is with the Institute for Happiness, and he's best friends with the Dalai Lama and Oprah, and has incredible books. But he actually studies men and women and our levels of happiness and what has gone on over the span of centuries and decades and generations. And he attributes this decrease in women being happy and satisfied in the lack of connection and human connection, and women being online earlier, and this comparison emphasis being placed in the wrong places, more on looks and vanity and achievements outside of that of love. And one of the things that he really spoke into that I thought was profound and beautiful and so simple and so overlooked. And this is one of the things that I pride myself on, teaching things that are simple, that make sense, that go back to the beginnings of time, and they work, and the majority of them are free. And it's love. That love is the highest currency. That human connection will always win out. And one of the things that he was saying with women in particular, and why, when he was asked in the interview with Cody Sanchez, she said, why do you believe that women are now this staggering percentage of women are unhappy, and that this has flipped in particular in this last decade? And he said it's due to the fracture in marriages, in family life, in love, in home life, in connection, in time off, and in being, So for those of you that are new to me or might not know, I lost my mother on December 21st. We lost her to a stroke. She did have Alzheimer's. And one of the things that I shared that would be, if I could take one thing with me going into 2025 and one thing to impart on another in terms of reinvention and choosing to, right? We all get to redesign our life and we get to look at what's been working and what doesn't. And all too often, I think we focus too much on goals and not enough on what it is we actually want to create. And that if we end up creating from a space of desire, not from circumstance, create from a space of what our heart is pulling us towards, not from who we think we need to be. When we create from a space of what would I want if my success is guaranteed? When we create from a space of let's wipe the slate clean, there's no past. We're not living in the future, right? So when we're living in the past, that's where overwhelm and stress comes from. When we live in the future, that's what creates anxiety. So when we're actually in the present state and we ask ourselves, what do I want right now? I don't need to know what 20 years in the future is going to bring because I have no idea who I'm even going to be a year from now. All of that will be determined by who I choose to be today and who I'm actually designing myself to be a year from now. So when we start going, it's not to say what let's plan for a future. It's not to say let's, look at 10 years from now, 20, but when we live too far off in the future and we don't enjoy for today, that's like when my grandfather passed away and my grandmother found all this money under their mattress. And she's like, we could have lived this life. And the mentality then was spend the money after you retire, save, then to live. Well, my invitation to you is if you're operating in the present, you're not going to put off today what you can do tomorrow. And one of the messages, if you follow me on social, I was saying, please, if you take anything from me and the loss of my mother, was please don't put off saying the things you want to say, doing the things you want to do, thinking that you have more time. So we're always going to go, well, I'm too old for this. I'm too young for that. I weigh too much for that. I don't look the part. I don't have this. There's always going to be an excuse. What if we wipe the slate of excuses and instead we say, I have today, I'm choosing presence, and I'm choosing that there's power in this present moment. And I'm not going to allow my mind to dictate who I can and can't be, because your mind is nothing more than an artifact of past consciousness. So your mind will always keep you where you are. And just like you're going to have those friends when you tell them you're going to start a business or you're going to go back to school or you want to have a baby when you're in your 50s or like whatever, or you want to get married again, and they're going to tell you all of their thoughts and all the reasons why it won't work and all the reasons why it's a bad idea. And you know what? Keep it to yourself. Let it incubate. Ask yourself if success is guaranteed and I get to have it my way, which you do because this is your life. It's your movie and you're the star of that movie. What do you want? Because everyone's always going to tell you their opinion based off of the choices they would make and the fears that they have. Very few times will you come across the person, I don't care if they are your parent and they love you more than anything, they will always come from a space of, more times than not, this is general, a space of fear and trepidation. And either they don't want you to get hurt, they don't want to see you fail, or they themselves have a fear of failing. And the thing that you're wanting to do, they can't fathom. So if you're a big thinker and a big dreamer, and if you want something different than what you're living today, you need to do things differently. There's a mantra that I teach within Limitless Academy and with all my clients. In order to become who you want to be, you have to do things differently. It doesn't mean it's comfortable, because doing anything new is always scary at first until it's not. Doing anything new, you're always going to question. You're not going to have that trust with yourself. It's just like when you learn to ride a bike and then you start doing it. So starting off this video, I was saying, why is it that there's more a percentage of women that are unhappier in the United States than with men? And how is this flipped and why? It's from the lack of presence, the lack of time off, the lack of inner connection, and the lack of love and feeling the foundation of security within family. And so it's a call to arms, I think, across the globe for us to love more. What if instead, and something else that I always say this, and I said it repeatedly, I always say it on podcast interviews, what would love do? When in doubt, ask yourself, what would love do? And that will always keep you from the reactive state. Pause and ask, what would love do? Not what do I want to do? Not what is fear telling me to do? Not what, what my reactive state is, but what would love do? Now, the other thing that I want to tell you going into 2025 is, as with life, yes, we'd love for everything to be what we want it to be, but life is always going to throw curveballs your way, right? I lost my mom right on the holiday, and it was hard. I'm not going to act like it was easy. And I also know that there's expansion in that. There's celebration in that. There was a life lived and a love so profound that I shared with her. So there's always a blessing. And we don't need to spiritually bypass or go into toxic positivity. We get to allow for the process. And I also want to say to everybody here, no matter what you're going through, there's always an invitation to look through the lens of love and say, why is this in my movie? What's here for me? And how can I respond to this situation in life differently than I've done in the past? So that is something that I shared with one of my clients yesterday. And I always know when I give guidance, it's always first and foremost. So whenever you give guidance, first and foremost, it's always meant for yourself. So if you're giving guidance, always say, like, where do I need this in my own life? That's one of the most beautiful things about the work that I get to do, because it's growth on both ends. Everyone is always a mirror, and it's always for the up-leveling and expansion of the collective. So when I say this to you, I just want you to look at, no matter what's going on in your world, ask yourself, if especially, and this is very important, if something, I also teach that you're either evolving or it's a revolving door. And if you notice that life throws you another curveball and you're responding the same way that you did a year ago, 2 years ago, then you haven't evolved past the way in which you're soothing yourself. And I only mean this in the realm of things that are unhealthy. So if you notice that when something hard happens, you go and you start emotionally eating, or you let go of all of your healthy habits, or you stop sleeping, or you go into depression, or you go to worst case scenario, or you just put your work on the back burner, or you hide behind your work. Whatever you do, that's an unhealthy response. If you've noticed that it's the same as years previously, then the invitation is to evolve past it. And the journal prompt would be, how could I respond to this differently? And once you do that, then the world opens up, you hop timelines, and you're now on a different frequency because you've actually evolved past where you've been. So the life lesson isn't going to come back again. Does that make sense? I hope if anybody knows what I'm talking about here, where you've had something where you're like, I'm responding again, or you went through another breakup and you're noticing, oh, I'm going back to this isolated state, or a hard thing is happening in my life and I'm shutting down again, or I've started drinking wine again and I'm over drinking and now I'm sleeping in. You'll notice there's the revolving door. So ask yourself, how can I do things differently so that this time I evolve? And I guarantee right away, your higher self is going to come in and go, hey, so you'll know what that thing is that you're doing. It's that pool where you're going, this is not helping me. Like having that drink right now is not helping. It's making me more sad. Overeating right now is just going to put weight on, which is then going to make me feel worse in the end. So I don't want to do that. What's the opposite? So we want to look to that. So as we go into 2025, I know a lot of people are like, crush your goals, let's do this. But we also want to acknowledge and look at, where are we not evolving past where we've been through habitual patterns of responding to life. Right now, as I'm saying that, put in the comments below, what is that for you? Everyone has a vice. They have that thing. We all know what it is. Often we don't actually want to share it. And usually there's like 1 to 3 things that we have, whether it's you want to online shop, you scroll on social endlessly, you stay up later, you go dark on other people, you're not responding. There's always something. So we want to start, in order for us to become who we haven't been, and in order for us to evolve and not have another revolving door, like from 2024 into 2025, we need to look at those. So now let's talk about some things that are going to anchor you in. I call these bookends. Bookends are powerful, healthy practices, healthy lifestyle practices. So as a nutritionist, as an ex-fitness competitor, background in fitness, as I specialize in food, women, and the psychology of self-sabotaging behaviors, I learned the power in bookends. So when you're looking to redesign your life and redesign who you are, it is the most powerful thing that you can do is bookend your day with two practices, a morning and an evening. Most people place emphasis on the morning. I'm actually going to tell you that I find the evening practice to be even more powerful because what you do at night is the beginning of your next day. So when you bookend your day, the rest in between, you're setting the stage. So work on bookends. And what I mean by that, so let's go through what would be a powerful morning practice. So a lot of people sit there and they go, this is going to be my year of health. I'm going to do all the things. And it's like, and they make this laundry list. I'm going to start meal prepping. I'm going to go to the gym 6 days a week. I'm going to start eating healthy. I'm going to get on this diet. It's too much. If we make a mountain, our mind will sabotage. The mind, if it can't look at the top and sit there at the top of Machu Picchu when you're at the base and go, it's going to go, I'm not doing that. Like, I can't. Like, I'm like, I haven't even worked out. Like, I get winded going up the stairs. So instead, you need to give it baby steps. All we need to do in the morning is practice called 5, 5, and 5. 5 minutes of reading, 5 minutes of writing, and 5 minutes of meditation. If you've never meditated before, that's okay. You're just going to breathe in and breathe out for 5 minutes, put on some music, sit in silence, get an app, right? I mean, there's so many, Headspace, there's so many apps now. I mean, you could put on YouTube. I have endless meditations and visualizations on my YouTube channel. I am the spiritual nutritionist on there. That's what my handle is. And I have so many. But aside from that, anything, you're just going to sit for 5 minutes. So why are you going to journal? So first thing in the morning, I tell people either write 5 gratitudes, 10 gratitudes, so these are the 3 things that I would invite you to be journaling about. Start off your day with gratitude. This is scientifically proven to flip your mood, hands down. 5 things you're grateful for. I'm grateful that it's sunny outside. I'm grateful I woke up on time. I'm grateful for my family. I'm grateful for the day ahead. I'm grateful for my health, whatever. And then you can get more detailed. I am so happy and grateful that you're going to write 1 line, an intention. My intention, : today was one of the best days of my life. You don't even have to say why. I'm so happy and grateful. Today was one of the best days of my life. God, universe, whoever, whatever you believe in, I open my life to you. You surprise the hell out of me. I am here for it all, right? So that's what you get to do. That is beautiful. Okay, so you're going to set an intention. Intentional living gets you out of the habit of being who you've been. I'm going to say that again. Intentional living gets you out of the habit of being who you've been. So in order to become who you want to be, we have to do the opposite of what we've done that hasn't been working for us. We need to do a habit interruption, a pattern interruption. As a master hypnotherapist, this was one of the most powerful things that we learned in terms of interrupting one stream of consciousness to access another. So what I like to do is teach how we can do pattern interruptions. So you want to get, as animals by nature, we want to create habits that our body's going to know. Did you ever notice, like, you can go on a trip and be like, I can't go to the bathroom. You walk in your house and you go and you're like, oh, it's because we're animals by nature. It's the same thing with your pets. So you're going to find a space in your house where that's your place to meditate, journal, and write. Whether you get up, go and get your lemon water and come back to bed, or your cup of coffee and come back to bed, but start to train your body. This is what we do. You're going to get up same time every morning. Please don't change the time that you get up on the weekends. And for those of you that are sleep deprived from children, obviously you do you, boo. But everybody else, the more you can keep your body regular and not do like when clients will start with me, they're like, well, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, I'll work out. So Tuesdays and Thursdays, I'm going to sleep till 8. And I'm like, no, we're going to get up the same time, even if you're not working out. And we're going to start to train the body, because then we're going to start filling in those days. So getting back to this, in the morning, 5, 5, and 5, 5 minutes of reading, 5 minutes of writing, 5 minutes of meditating. You're going to find a space. You're going to have you get a little chair, you get a little nook. If you're like, Melissa, I don't know, just create something in your space, right? Wherever you are. I've done this all over, whether I lived in New York City, living in Mexico, like, doesn't matter, California, wherever I am, hotels, traveling, I always find a space, even if you're just sitting on the floor or you're whatever. And you sit, you're going to have your journal, you're going to have a book that's a book of introspection, whether it's the Bible, A Course in Miracles, A Return to Love by Marianne Williamson, any book that has you grow in some capacity, that has you think outside of yourself. 365 Days of Miracles. I can keep going here. Radical Self-Acceptance, my books, like any book that has you think outside of yourself to learn and grow and have you go, oh, okay. And pick a book that relates to a goal that you have for this year. So if it's love, maybe you want to get the book Calling in the One, and you're going to read a chapter a day or a lesson a day. If it's around spirituality and you're like, I really want to grow in spirituality, or I really want to learn to love myself, like there's so many different things. Or I really want to get more into health, or, mind-body connection. There are so many books that can support with this. I do love A Return to Love by Marianne Williamson. Another one of my favorite books is The Game of Life and How to Play It by Florence Scovel. Another one of my favorites is Neville Goddard. Anything by Neville Goddard, you will just be like mind blown. And then we'll go into Neil Donald Walsh. Love. Oh my God, what is the book that I'm thinking of? Conversations with God. And I can tag a few books below if you want. We have like a reading list in our membership group that I can pull some books from, but those are the ones that are coming to mind for me. The Untethered Soul by Michael Singer. Great book. We can keep going here. Great books. Okay. Atomic Habits is a great one going into this year, but I love anything that connects to a goal that you have. Okay. And then the other one, any books on intuition, all of that. Okay. So you're going to write. So you're going to do gratitude. You're going to write a daily intention. Also, if you have a tendency to wake up with a lot in your head, right? Where you're just like, I'm bombarded with thoughts. I'm feeling functified. I call it taking out the trash. You're going to put a timer on, and you're going to do free flow writing for 12 minutes. And you're not going to stop. Even when you think you're done, you're going to go, what else? You're not going to read over it again. You don't need punctuation. Just get out all the junk. Take the trash out. It's like clearing the cache on the computer. So then this brings me to my next thing. And so then with journaling, now I'm not talking about scripting. I'm talking about just journaling. This is just you're writing a daily intention. You're doing some gratitudes. We're going to get into scripting in a little bit in this video. Then we've got 2 more things and we're going to get into that. Then what you're going to do is you're going to read for 5 minutes. We want to keep this simple, especially if you don't have a morning routine right now. If you're like, oh my God, how could I even do that? You're going to set your alarm to get up before anybody else. This is your grace period. This is your time with you. This is time for connection. Then you're going to read for 5 minutes, and then you're going to set the timer and meditate. You can do this in whatever order feels good for you. And you're just going to sit with your eyes closed, and you can just repeat, I am, and breathe in. I am, and breathe out. I am wealth. I am health. I am what I am. Or you can simply you can do Wayne Dyer's meditation, just the word of the creator. You can just sit in silence. Or you can listen to a guided meditation. 5, 5, and 5, 15 minutes. As Tony Robbins says, if you don't have 10 minutes for yourself, you don't have a life. Everybody has 15 minutes. Think about the time you scroll on your phone. This time of intention is going to set the stage for the day that you want to have. This is your time with you. Okay. And then you go about your day. Now we're going to bookend with a nighttime routine. You're going to set a timer on your phone to start getting ready for bed around 9, whatever time you want to go to bed. I like to get up early. I want to get up before everybody else. Nothing feels better. And for all of you that think you're a night owl, you're not. You just put your body in survival mode after 9 o'clock. Then you got a second wind, and then you're wanting to start projects. I was that way. And I used to be like, I'm such a night owl. No, I just surpassed I put my body in survival mode. And so I got this second wind, and all of a sudden I'm reorganizing my closet at 11 o'clock at night. And then I'm exhausted the next day and I'm waking up later. There is something so empowering waking up at 5, 6, 7, whatever time feels early for you, before other people, where no one's bothering you, where you get this solid time in the morning with you, and then you get to do things in your day that you don't want to do, and you do them first. It's like that book, Eat the Frog. You get it out and you're like, if this is the only thing that I have to do today, I'm going to do it. But let's go back to this. So at night, you're going to set a timer. We're turning off LED screens. We're getting the body calm. I want you to think of yourself like a baby. You're setting your thermostat to 65, 60. Trust me, you will thank me later. You're putting on the blackout curtains, or you're getting your weighted eye mask. Like I have one on Amazon that I got from Amazon that I love. If you guys want it, let me know in the comments below. Amazing. And I also love mouth tape. We'll talk about that on another date. And then what you're going to do is before bed, you're going to go through and ask yourself, what did I love about today? Why am I proud of myself? And you're going to make a list of 5 to 10 reasons why you're proud of yourself. You're going to celebrate you. Celebrate that you're in bed. You're gonna get your sleepy time tea. I steep 4 tea bags in 4 ounces of water. I drink it 30 minutes before bed. I'm golden through the night. Amazing. But before you go to bed, you're going to think why you're proud of yourself. And then you're going to write how the next day is going to go. I'm so happy and grateful. I woke up right at 5. I woke up without an alarm. I feel so refreshed. I had the most amazing workout. It was incredible. By 8 o'clock, I had done 2 solid hours of work, had one of the best workouts of my life, blah, 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 blah. You can bullet it out. You can write it out, but you're going to write it. And I'm so happy and grateful. It's done, right? Present or past. It's done. You did it. It's tomorrow, blah, blah, blah. We're not future tensing it. It's you're already writing what you wanted to happen. And then you're going to fall asleep. Neville Goddard teaches SATs, states akin to sleep. And there's scientific research that proves that when we saturate the mind before bed with a vision, since the mind doesn't know a difference between a dream or reality, when we saturate the mind with a vision of what we want to have happen, when we bring it to life through emotions, if you see yourself getting married, having the baby, the money in your bank account, going on that shopping spree, going on that trip to Italy, like winning the lottery, starting that business, speaking on stage, whatever your dream is, when you see it in repetition, you saturate the mind. The mind doesn't know a difference between a dream or reality. So you start acting in accordance with that version of you, and you attract it to you. And it happens, right? And so this is, it goes into, there's so much more that I can talk about with neuroplasticity and the reticular activating system. But the more that we saturate the mind and we fall asleep with that vision in repetition of it happening, and we bring it to life through our senses. We see ourselves in Italy. The smell of gelato or the pasta, and the sounds of live music and people on the street and mopeds going by, and right? Or you see yourself coming out on stage and you hear applause and this, or you're on, say you want to start a business, or you're on Zoom and there's thousands that are here, and like, whatever that is for you, and you see it and you see it and you see it, or money coming into your bank account, and you see yourself counting money, whatever that is, you're going to saturate yourself with that. So this is what I teach, and it's called bookends. And bookends are extremely powerful. And when you just bookend your day, what are we doing? It means we're intentionally living. So the rest fills in accordance with what we're placing, with what we're creating. We're now living our life by our design, not by default. Right? And that's really, really, it's awesome. And it's inspiring. And what happens is then you start going, oh, I see myself. Oh, okay, I'm speaking on these stages, or I wrote that, or, now I'm traveling here. And all of a sudden you start operating in accordance with that and thinking in accordance with that. And it's a beautiful thing. And this is when we start manifesting effortlessly through magnetizing opportunities. But what's happening is our mind is also thinking differently because it doesn't know that we didn't do it. So it starts thinking and bringing those things to life, right? And we want to start saturating our mind with that more and more and more. Now, this brings me to the next point in terms of reinventing yourself. And it's a powerful thing. And for those of you that want to dramatically change yourself and your life, your body, your health, I am running my Reinvention program. And if this is something that you're interested in, we have applications going below. We have this few spots left. I would love to have you. Just put Reinvention in the comments below, and my team and I will reach out with the application to see if it's the right fit for you. And if not, we also do a lot of this in Limitless Academy, our online membership, our Life, Mind, Body Mastery membership. And this is incredible, and it's one of my favorite things. But in terms of reinventing yourself, the premise is we now get to do it by our design, not by default, not by who our parents told us we need to be, or teachers, or society, or culture, or what was going on around us with our friends. Now, knowing what we know, awaken to where you are, especially if you're in life transition, if you're over the age of 35, 40, and you're like, I'm ready to live my best life now. I am ready for what's next. Like, I want to live extraordinary, not ordinary. I'm ready. And I want to do it by design. And I want to be intentional. I want to be guided. I want to be with and around other incredible women doing this process. And I want to have the personal, private, one-on-one coaching along with the group and the in-person. This is the program for you. So aside from that, with Reinvention and what we're doing in today's video, giving you these tips, I want you to know that now that you're awake and aware, you get to ask yourself, well, who do I want to be? And I don't have to do or be anything that I don't want to be. I don't have to operate as somebody that I haven't been. I don't need to live by any rules. And if I don't like them, I don't have to do that. If I want to go away for the holiday, I get to go away for the holiday. I don't have to do it this way. If I want to dress this way, I don't care what they say about age and blah, blah, blah. If I want to cut and color my hair, if I want to say this, if I want to start a whole new career, the whole opportunity here and invitation is your success is guaranteed. It's already done. What desires do you have on your heart? And let's make them happen. So if you're ready for this to be for you to get your best body this year for optimal health, I don't care what your past has been, and I don't want you to care either. I don't care what's been dictated by, well, everyone in your family has this problem and that. It doesn't matter. You get to decide, and then you get to program the mind. And one of the things that I specialize in is not only reprogramming the mind, but creating the identity, shifting the identity. This isn't about you not being yourself. This is about you designing the version of you that you want to be and enhancing who you already are and letting go of the aspects of you, the ways of being that were never you to begin with, that have felt off, where you found yourself trying to be somebody you weren't, living into expectations you didn't even want, and putting pressures on yourself unnecessarily, and then feeling out of alignment, right? I have so many women DM me that just say, like, I don't even know what I want. And I'm like, but if you took the time, you do. And if you allowed yourself, you would. But there's so much fear that clouds us when we start thinking about what would they think? What would these people say? What would my children say? What would my partner say? Now, if I got divorced, or if I ended up with this person and they're younger or they're older, or I decided I did want to have a baby, or I decided I wanted to adopt, or I wanted to start this business, it's totally opposite. So much fear comes in from what we think people will think, right? The fear of failing, and that we actually can't be successful, that we can't monetize it, that we can't live the life that we truly desire. So we end up putting it out here in that sounds nice. And then we wonder, we put it on a vision board and we talk about it and we think about it. And then we go, well, nothing really happened, so it must not be. The universe must not want it for me. God, it must not be a part of his plan. Nothing's working. When in reality, we actually never brought it in to our reality. We left it up here in the vision board world, in the what if world, in the someday, in the dream, if I would have when I was 22, when all we really need to do, and I was working on this with a client earlier today, is we just need to bring it into reality. We need to bring it into the mind and viscerally in the body to raise our frequency and our vibration that this is real. And how do we do that? How do we start to take something from out here and bring it here? We start actually scripting about it daily. We write a letter, dear God, blah, blah, blah happened. And I have so many examples of this in my life. This is how I eradicated cancer from my body in 8 weeks. This is how I created love in my life and attracted in, like, this is how I've created a business that I love and a life that I love. This is how I've traveled the world. This is how I went to New York City and was in fashion design for over a decade with no training. Like, this is how I even got to New York City. This is how I've started in a movie. Like, it's these things that I've done. And this is why I say, when people are like, you're the queen of reinventing yourself. This is how I, did a fitness competition and I won. Like, it was like my first one. Like, it's taking an idea and then bringing it into your reality here. So how do we do this? So one, the art of scripting, there is scientific proof in putting a pen to paper and actually writing in the present tense. I'm so happy and grateful. I'm so happy and grateful. It doesn't have to be, I'm so happy and grateful, but you're going to write it like it's a diary entry. And I would love to invite you to write a letter to you a year from now, as you writing from a year from now to you today and being like, wow, we did it. This is crazy. We had one of the best years of our life, our best year yet. I ended up blah, 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 blah. And then I met this person, and then I ended up traveling the world, and we made more money than ever before. And you wouldn't believe it, but this year alone, I got asked to whatever you desire. You're going to write it out. And then you want to look at, how can I bring this to life on a daily? So you're going to write this future letter to yourself that you're going to read each day in the next year to come. And you're going to read it every day and let it come to life as you're reading it. And if you're like, every day feels like a lot, once a week, once a month. But the more that desired reality is in the forefront of your mind. Napoleon Hill talks about this in Think and Grow Rich, about keeping your goals in the front of your mind. So did Bob Proctor always talked about this. I mean, there's so many greats, the greats of the greats. Wayne Dyer talked about this. He was one of my earlier mentors. Louise Hay talked about this. She was one of my earlier mentors. And it's having your goals front of mind. Jack Canfield, when you see them in repetition, this is why, you always hear with affirmations and mantras, put little sticky notes around, remind yourself. When you have those reminders, it keeps you in alignment until those reminders become a part of who you are. So instead of, always having up, I am happy, I'm this. If you're struggling with being happy, then one day all of a sudden you're like, I am happy. I remember when I started doing mirror work, and I really did not like myself. I mean, it made me sad to say, but like, I didn't. And it was really hard. And Louise Hay was my first mentor, and she taught me mirror work. And she said, I need you to stand in front of the mirror. I need you to stand in front of the mirror every day until you don't want to not do it, till you don't want to cry, till you don't want to laugh, till you're not saying things like, I feel stupid, to where you actually can feel what you're saying. And mirror work is standing in front of yourself in the mirror. It's your soul's recognition of yourself in yourself. And actually doing it, she had me do it naked because I was working a lot on body love and self-love, and look at all the parts of my body and look deep within my own eyes. And you will, if you have, and I would love to invite everybody to do this, even if you think you love yourself endlessly. I've been a coach now in self-development and transformation for, I'm going on almost 20 years. I have yet to find a woman that hasn't cried. That has not cried when doing mirror work, no matter how much she said she loved herself. When she either wanted to laugh at first, or she was like, this is so dumb, avoided it. And when she actually did it, it was like, without fail, it was really hard to actually say those things to myself, because I heard, my inner voice say, that's not true, or you don't believe that, or no, you're this. And then they heard like, oh, there's the voice of the inner critic. That's really been there. Because we love to gloss over, because the version of us today, adult us, is like, of course I love myself. But the truth is, your subconscious, from being in the womb until age 10, that's your subconscious mind, is making 98% of your decisions. And your programming is coming from your subconscious. So 80,000 thoughts on repeat a day, 60,000 of them are negative. They are not coming from the adult you who knows better. They're coming from the young you who formed all of these identities. So what we're doing in Reinvention is we are intercepting those limiting beliefs. We're extracting them like weeds, A belief gets created in 17 seconds. We're catching it, we're extracting it, and we're replacing it. And mirror work is one of the most profound ways to do that. So getting back to scripting, in terms of redesigning your life, and we do all of this in the Reinvention program as I guide you through this. And we do this in Limitless Academy in a different way. Reinvention is more of a 6-month intensive. But what I want to say that I want you to do is, and this is important, when you are scripting, really notice this. So when I say this right now, when I say apple, what vision came to mind for you? A red apple, a green apple. You saw an apple, right? So when people tell me they can't visualize, when you are scripting, a vision is happening in your mind. Whether you want to think it or not, a vision is happening in your mind. So when you start scripting daily, like a journal entry, like you're writing a letter to the universe or a letter to me, and you're sitting down and you're like, oh my God, this is the craziest thing happened. I am writing you from my house in Pacific Palisades overlooking the ocean, or I'm writing you from blah, blah, blah. Got the most delicious coffee in hand. I'm waiting for my trainer to come. I woke up to a massive increase in my investments, and I got this message about this, and all these payments came, like whatever it is. And I just received the best news, and this happened. And you're writing, and you start making that a part of your day to day, not like once every 6 months, you're writing this epic journal entry that feels like a dream. When you do it daily and you're writing different scenes, I'm sitting here with the love of my life, blah, blah, blah. We just did this. I'm flying in first class back from blah, blah, blah. Oh my God, the coolest thing happened. I got an invitation to go to Necker Island. I'm taking my entire trip or taking my entire family here on an all expense. I just surprised everyone. I did a spa day, like whatever you want. I'm taking a week off just to sit with myself. I don't know. But when you start writing it every day and you start playing out these different scenes, I'm in my dream home. I just paid cash for blah, blah, blah car. I just did this. I'm debt free. It feels so good. I just opened up this for myself, and I got my kids. That when you start writing all of these things, you're bringing it to life. And as you're writing it in a way where your mind is creating a vision to match it. So it should bring life to you. My clients will tell me that often they find themselves journaling with a smile is on their face, and their partners come out and are like, what are you smiling about? And they're like, oh my God, it's crazy. Like I'm writing about make believe, but then it ends up happening. And then they're like, it happened. Right? So a lot changes quickly when you start to allow, as Neville Goddard calls it, the imagined mind to take hold. And that's your 4D reality. So I don't want you looking at the 3D. I don't care if you're like, yeah, but Melissa, I'm in massive debt right now, or I have no idea who I am, or I need to lose 50 pounds, or I've been single for this long. Like everything can change like that, as long as you open yourself to believe it and know that if you desire it, it's already happened on a different timeline. We just need to shift your frequency. We need to change your dial so that you're in alignment. And we can change your dial so fast just by you changing your thought, responding to life differently, because every day in every way, a multitude of roads are available to you. You're either going to go on the same path that you've been on, or you're going to go on a path that's uncomfortable. You're either going to do the thing that's going to have you go higher, or you're going to stay exactly where you are. It's up to you to decide. So now we've got bookending our day, a morning routine and evening routine. I've talked you through both of those. We talked about mirror work. We talked about scripting. We went through the 5, 5, and 5 method. We also talked about the power of really, really setting a clear intention. And in the beginning of this video, I talked to you about the most powerful 2 things that you can do is ask yourself, what would love do? And stay in the present moment, and know that if you are in an anxious state, you are living in the future. And if you are in overwhelm or stress, you're living in your past. If you're in regret, you're in the past. Doesn't matter what happened in the past. You get to design your life by who you're being today. And always know there's the process called revisioning. Revisioning can be done at night. This is taught by Neville Goddard, where you actually revision a scene that happened for you earlier that day, playing out the way that you wanted it to. So if you ended up overeating, overspending, saying the thing that you didn't want to say, not getting up, missing a meeting, messing up something, having somebody get angry with you, like whatever it is, see yourself doing it differently and change the neural pathways in your mind to see yourself have an actual different cellular response to what occurred earlier that day. So then you change your neural pathways so that your mind is starting to go, wait a minute, we actually responded differently. And then what happens is the next time that experience occurs for you, you're going to respond the way you wanted to. It's powerful. It's potent. It's called Revisioning by Neville Goddard. Look it up. You can also read about it in any of his books. And there's enough on YouTube from Neville Goddard that you can learn about it. But I basically just gave you the Cliff's Notes version. The other thing that I wanted to share with you here is the most powerful thing that you have. And one of the reasons that I am a nutritionist and the pillar that I will always be the premise of every program and everything that I do is health. Health is wealth. The one thing you can control is what you put into your mouth and how you talk to yourself. Your relationship to you is the most important relationship that you will have. You control the food that you consume, the quality of the food, the quality of your thoughts. Your mental diet is just as important as your actual diet. The foods that you eat, the thoughts that you say. Be very, very clear on what you want to create. You want a healthier body, you need a healthier mind. You want a healthier mind, you need a healthier body. The two go hand in hand. Understand the power in this vessel. Do you know the number of people that think that they're depressed and then they start working out and they realize that the only thing they ever really needed to do was move their body? And they did not need to go on the medication. They did not need to suffer and struggle the way that they did. They needed to actually move their body. We are animals by nature, being sedentary. If you are sitting here and you're going, I'm just not feeling like myself. I think my hormones, I've gained weight. I cannot tell you the number of women that have come to me, yes, over 40 and over 50, that tell me that it's their hormones and it's menopause. We do simple tweaks to their diet and we really just get them moving and we get them eating clean and off of all the crazy diets and the this and the intermittent and all the things. Not saying that there aren't certain things that have a place, but when you get your body back to its natural rhythms and you start eating real whole foods and you simplify and you get out of overcomplicating everything and you just start moving your body in a way that feels good for you, that you can stay consistent with, i.e. zone 2 cardio, grab yourself a weighted vest, get into a dance class too, just find something that you enjoy. I promise you, your body will change, as will your mood, and your hormones will balance. I'm not saying it's the cure all to all things, but I have to tell you that if you're sitting here and that's one of your complaints, and I get menopause, perimenopause, postmenopause, all very real. But if you're not moving your body and you're not eating clean and you're eating crappy foods, then you're going to think crappy thoughts and you're going to feel crappy. When I eat sugar, I feel depressed. I have less energy. I feel it's very easy for me to feel more negative thoughts about myself and to be more prone to be negative towards others. I see it. I'm very, very in tune with my body. I notice it right away. Alcohol is a depressant. I can tell you right now, if you're going through a hard time, put down the wine. Not only is it disrupting your sleep, but it is a toxin to the body and a poison to the body, and it is a depressant. I know nobody wants to hear this, and this is not going to be like the best news, but I'm telling you right now, if that's something you struggle with, get your mood checked first, and then add back in the alcohol, but start cleaning things up. Our body is comprised 73% of water, so it makes sense that we need to, 1, drink more water, 2, we're animals by nature, move your body at least 20 minutes a day and get some vitamin D in there. Do some sun gazing, right? Just look up at the sun for a few minutes. That alone is going to increase your mood. And for those of you that are in a cold environment, get the happy mirror. Sit in front of the happy mirror. It's actually called the happy mirror. It's on Amazon. It's in my storefront. It's linked below. Get the happy mirror. It will do a world of difference. Now, the next thing that I want to say to you is Wow, I'm really proud of myself. I covered quite a bit here. Oh, we also talked about a revolving door, and if things are revolving, then we're not evolving. So how to actually move past those. And the main thing that I also want to tell you guys is we want to get out of making things too complicated and having things get in the way. So I want you to think right now, what are some habits that are blocking you and stopping you from being the version of you that you want to be? Staying up late, scrolling on social media, gossiping, not being on time, not managing your finances, having a cluttered home, not having a good nighttime routine, not having a morning routine, hitting snooze, not having boundaries, right? What are those below? And I also want to hear from you. What is your number one goal for 2025? What is your number one goal for 2025? Put that below. So definitely stay tuned, because the next video that we're going to do, I'm going to be sharing with you my top 12 tips that I'm going in with, life lessons for 2025 that I'm taking with me from 2024, and the ones that I'm leaving behind. And I also have a video for you on my favorite health finds that are going to support you in not only longevity and vitality, but having your best body and your best health in 2025. So definitely stay tuned. Subscribe if you like this content. Please share this video with those who you know need it. I love you all. I'm so grateful for you. Thank you for all the love with the loss of my mom. I know I was a bit absent over the holidays. It was just very hard on my heart, and it still is. We have the services this week. But I have a lot of videos and other things coming to you that you have a lot to look forward to, and I'm very excited to share them with you. So all my love. I'm really excited for an incredible year ahead. This year is filled with magic and miracles because we get to claim it as such. So your goals, your dreams are yours, and they're coming for you. And I'm here to support you every step of the way. Let's thrive in life in a body that we love. And again, you get to design who you get to be, what you get to look like, how you get to feel, what you get to have. Let's live an extraordinary life. You were never meant for ordinary. I'm here for you. I love you, and we're in this together. All my love, guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Mwah.